So Atlas was designed to help facilitate opportunities for students to apply the theoretical work that they do in courses, building the content knowledge and expertise, and really apply it, as you say, in their own time. We identify a particular professional experience. We model it, we identify what we're looking for in terms of evaluating the quality of the student's performance, how the interaction proceeds, the different attributes or characteristics of the simulated persona within that interaction. And then we build an algorithm that really processes all of that and uses the large language model, in this case OpenAI's ChatGPT, to churn all these insights we have about individual cases and how these professional experiences unfold into a real authentic feeling simulated interaction. So the student inputs in natural language, using their voice, interacting with the simulated patient. The simulated patient, based on the detailed case information that we're provided with and this model of the conversation that we've developed, will react to what the student says, and a characterization of that patient's emotional state is represented to them back visually. There's an image of the patient being distraught, being interested, being engaged, being angry, whatever it is. And then on the other end, what the patient says comes back as sound. So from the student's point of view, it's a very interactive experience, as though they were interacting with a patient in this simulated environment.
All right, so we'll just move on to your medications now. So I see that you've brought in some medications with you today. Is it all right if I take a look through them?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. They're all in the bag there.
All right, I see that you've got the metformin 1000 milligram extended release tablets here. Are you still taking this one?
Yes, I take 2 of those in the morning.
Yeah, so my name's Lisa. I am a dietitian. I work in the Masters of Nutrition and Dietetics program and do a lot of the clinical teaching. So my objective for the platform was really to give students an opportunity in a low stakes environment to practice their communication with patients. We find when students go to placement, for some students, their communication skills are the main things that hold up their progression through their placement and meeting their placement competencies. So in the classroom, we do have a lot of structures in place which we haven't changed. They're all still there. So with the Atlas program, the students can use it as much as they like, as much as they need. They can go back and practice something that didn't work very well, or practice something in class that hasn't worked very well, and have free access to that at any time through their course. We have asked students what they thought of it, and students really appreciate the opportunity for a low stakes, unassessed way to practice their communication, and to practice things, especially those more difficult conversations. I mean, one of the things we ask a lot about is bowel habits, and those kinds of conversations can be really difficult for a novice student to have with someone they've never met before. So being able to practice just the phrasing of that to get that right can be really good for them. Around 20 to 25% of our cohort who have English as their second language. So for those students in particular, it's been a real advantage for them because they have, again, been able to freely practice multiple occasions. One of our assessment tasks is a communication reflection where students reflect on a communication interaction with a patient that didn't go the way they might have liked. And it was great reading some of them and having students actually say that they were going to use the platform to practice that particular communication style until they could get that right. So it's definitely being positively used by students in the classroom, which is great.
Bethany Howard. I'm an education-focused lecturer within the School of Public Health and Preventive Medicine. And the unit that we used Atlas in is an infectious disease prevention and control unit. Because it is at the end of their degree, there's a real focus on practical application. Yeah, so what we created was a scenario where there was an outbreak in Thailand. People were saying, people being AI, that it was bird flu, but it was actually turned out to be cholera because they've just experienced a storm. And so that kind of brought that about. And so it was really intriguing to see that play out because I thought it was going to be really about them dealing with misinformation. So posting something and having a lot of pushback and people saying, no, this isn't an actual thing, which of course happened. But we had instances where there was actually quite valuable feedback on posts. So one of the festival organizers posted, and one of the AI talked about, do you have a health response plan or OH&S plan in place? And so that's really interesting because that's not feedback I provided that they needed. And then they kind of scrambled and go, do we have this? Do we need this? So it's really cool to see that there was actually some useful feedback in terms of what they would actually need to do as well. So there was both sides of the coin, which is something that you factored in, that some people would actually have health knowledge and skills, others wouldn't, and some people would be supportive and not. So I think that actually played a key role, that kind of getting feedback automatically on their post that didn't have to come from the teaching staff is really cool. It was actually also what was happening outside of the platform. And so a number of students, reached out to me and said they were quite stressed because they had to do something every day and teams were emailing them, asking what's going on. This is actually what would happen. Particularly if you're the Department of Health, like everyone's like, what's going on? You're not doing it right. You're getting judged for every decision you make, and you're never going to please everyone. So from my end, it was pretty easy to set up. Really, as an educator, the work was in creating the support around the simulation. I think it's really important. All these new technology tools come in all the time and people want to use them, but often we don't stop and think about, okay, how is this going to be an educative tool, like a proper one, but also how are we building assessment around it?
Hi, my name's Matthew. I'm the pharmacist on duty today. I believe that you're here for medications history. Is that correct?
Yes, Matthew, that's correct.
Okay, so Nam, have you ever had a medications history taken before? Do you know what it's all about?
Yes, I've had a medications history taken before. It's about listing and checking my medications, right?
Yeah, that's completely correct. Yeah, so it's just really good for your healthcare team, including your doctor and us here at the pharmacy, to have a good idea and understanding of what medications you're taking, how you're taking them, so that way we can best optimize your care. Now, we're going to go over that sort of stuff today, and it's just a little conversation between you and I. Is that okay to do that now?
Yeah, that's fine. We can go through them now.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, Nam. So, to start off with, I'd just like to talk about your allergies. So, have you ever had a reaction to a medicine or food before?
Yes, I had a reaction to ibuprofen. It caused hives. That was about 10 years ago.
Okay, thanks for that. Have you had any other allergic reactions, or have you been told that you've got any allergies to anything else?
No, just the ibuprofen. Nothing else that I know of.
Okay, thanks for that. Alright, so we'll just move on to your medications now. So I see that you've brought in some medications with you today. Is it alright if I take a look through them?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. They're all in the bag there.
Okay. Alright, I see that you've got the metformin 1000 milligram extended release tablets here. Are you still taking this one?
Yes, I take 2 of those in the morning.
Now, I'll just go through a couple other medications that you might be taking, just to sort of jog your memory in case you forget anything. So, do you take anything that you might get over the counter, say at a pharmacy, or even something that you might get at a supermarket?
No, I don't take anything else that I haven't already mentioned.
Okay, good to know. And, just to make sure, any sort of vitamins or supplements, some people don't really think of these as medicines, but it's good for us to know.
Oh, well, I do take fish oil capsules and a vitamin D supplement daily, but I didn't think those were important to mention.
No, that's okay. Yeah, like I said, it's just good for us to know. So, hi, my name's Matthew. I'm a second-year pharmacy student here at Monash University. So, I'm a proud Gamilaraay man, and I really have chosen pharmacy because I find the best intersection of medicines, physiology, and chemistry, which are three of my biggest passions, and combining that all into one amazing study and field. Yeah, so Atlas has been a really wonderful tool for us to prepare for these OSCEs. So I know that Atlas is an AI based simulation of a patient, and how that's been really useful is that it provides a human-like experience of interacting with patients. And so how I've used it is to make sure that how I approach different studies or different cases with different patients is really optimal, and finding different techniques that I can use to approach with different patients who might be having an array of struggles or challenges. And I know that what I found with Atlas is that it provides a very judgment-free sort of environment where I can practice freely without having to feel like the person on the other end is going to think I'm dumb if I make a mistake or anything like that. And so it's made it a lot easier to practice these OSCE cases and then pick up on mistakes, because we get a very wonderful set of feedback after doing a practice case, and that goes through everything that you've done and analyzes you even down to your body language, and so that helps you to figure out, if you've missed tiny little things or big things, and how to really change up the structure of how you question people and talk to them so that the patient feels comfortable, you're getting the best information that you can, and overall it's just the best possible way to interact with patients. And so I found Atlas particularly useful because of that, like I said, that human-like experience, the judgment-free feedback that we get, and especially with our best possible medication history OSCE. We were provided with a template underneath the actual case study to fill out all the information that we needed to, and that was really useful, so I didn't have to keep flicking back between different tabs, and I was able to just really focus in on my questioning, how I was communicating, and making sure that I was taking the best possible notes. Even though it's AI, it was able to really replicate quite a varied range of emotions and present some complexities that were quite unexpected. So, for an example, with one of the cases, the patient was getting a little bit annoyed that I was going through all the different types of medicines that they might be taking, and was saying things like, "Oh, I've told you everything that I take already," like basically telling me to just move on. However, when presented with that challenge, I realized that it was necessary to explain the importance of why we were going through all the different types of medicines, and I essentially said to them that it's really important to go through all this different stuff because some people might not think of certain things as medicines, but even though it's really important for us to know exactly what they're taking. And it turns out that person was actually taking certain vitamins and supplements that they would not have brought up unless I mentioned that. So it was really interesting to see how I should be able to adapt to different challenges presented by these patients, and in real life I can take those skills and transfer them there and be able to adapt how I speak to patients to make sure that they feel comfortable and well taken care of when talking to pharmacists and talking to myself. Yeah, so the feedback was really in depth and covered quite a lot of different points, which I found was really good. It analysed everything from my performance as like a clinician, as well as my professional behaviors as well. So that's like my eye contact and how fast I'm speaking and what sort of language I'm using. And so I found that with the knowledge-based sort of side of things, that it was really, really, really good. So, for example, I had a case study where a person came in with a case of athlete's foot or tinea, and in the feedback after that case, it said that I should ask about whether the athlete's foot had spread to their toenails as well, or any other parts of their body, which I didn't even know was a point that I should bring up. So I started to use that in my history or my questioning, and that really improved. I found improved my interactions with the patients. And then as for the behavioral analysis, I found it really, really good to know that I was making good eye contact with patients, and that it was enough, as well as, using hand gestures, that I wasn't overdoing it or underdoing it, and it gave me a really good sort of analysis of how I was doing overall, and you wouldn't really get that with a human too, because you can only focus on so many things at once. So having an analysis of everything that I was doing was just a really good experience.